Do you know what happened to Cesare Borgia? In 1503, he was the most feared man in Italy, military commander, duke, and Machiavelli's perfect prince. By 1507, he was dead in a ditch, betrayed by allies he trusted. They never warn you before they betray you. They smile, shake your hand, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. Welcome to the real world, a world where perception is deadlier than reality. Today I'm going to show you what Machiavelli truly meant when he wrote The Prince. Not the watered-down version they teach in schools, but the raw, unfiltered blueprint that has guided history's most powerful figures for 500 years. And I promise you this, by the end of this video, you'll see power dynamics in every room you enter, and no one will ever be able to blindside you again. Let me tell you about Michael. Michael was brilliant, Harvard-educated, rising star at his firm. Everyone loved him. Then one day, he made a simple mistake. During a team meeting, he admitted he was struggling with a major project. "I could really use some help," he said. 2 months later, he was pushed out of the company. His supportive colleague Sarah had been quietly telling executives that Michael couldn't handle the pressure. You don't have to be broken for them to destroy you. You just have to look breakable. Machiavelli didn't survive by being strong. He survived by appearing untouchable. The first rule of power: never bleed in front of wolves. Even if you're dying inside, make them believe you're ready to kill. They don't attack you because you're weak. They attack you because you look weak. When I was 27, my first business was falling apart. Investors were pulling out. Partners were panicking. I had exactly $347 in my bank account. But every morning I put on my best suit, walked into meetings with unshakable confidence, and spoke about our future as if success was inevitable. One investor later told me, "I was about to pull my final investment until I saw how confident you were when everything was burning down. That's when I decided to double down." Perception created reality. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That wasn't just philosophical musing from Machiavelli. That was a tactical instruction. You must master the image of strength, especially when you're broken inside. 1. No public struggle. 2. No crying on social media. 3. No complaining to people who don't need to know. Suffer in silence, because every time you show weakness, someone is watching and calculating. Let me ask you something. Who's the most powerful person in the room? It's rarely the one talking the most. When Stalin attended Allied conferences during World War II, American diplomats were unnerved by his behavior. While Churchill made grand speeches and Roosevelt charmed the room, Stalin would sit silently, observing. He spoke little, but when he did, everyone listened. By the end of these conferences, Stalin often got exactly what he wanted. The more you talk, the more weapons you hand your enemies. If no one knows what you're thinking, they fear what you might do. Unpredictability is power. Silence is strategy. Think about the last argument you had. Who lost control first? Who started explaining themselves, defending, justifying? That person lost before they even finished their sentence. Next time you're challenged, take 3 seconds before responding. Lower your voice instead of raising it. Ask a question instead of making a statement. Let uncomfortable silences hang. Watch as the power dynamic instantly shifts in your favor. Strip emotion from your decision-making. Emotional people are easy to trap. They make impulsive decisions, beg for forgiveness, and regret their actions later, not you. Your goal is to replace "how do I feel" with "what does this achieve?" It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Everyone quotes this line from Machiavelli. Few understand its brutal truth. Julius Caesar was stabbed 23 times on the Senate floor. But the knife that cut deepest was wielded by Brutus, his friend, his protege, the man he trusted most. Caesar's final words weren't about pain or betrayal. They were about recognition. "You too, my child." In that moment, Caesar finally understood what Machiavelli would later write. Loyalty is a beautiful word until you realize it's used to control you. Loyalty is rarely pure. It's transactional. People are loyal to their interests, not to you. The moment your value drops, their loyalty vanishes. Look at any corporate restructuring. The same colleagues who share drinks on Friday are updating their resumes on Saturday, ready to take your position on Monday. Look at celebrity fall from grace stories. The entourage that lived off their fame disappears the moment the spotlight dims. If you want to be untouchable, erase the illusion that loyalty protects you. It doesn't. Power protects you. Stop building emotional bonds and start building leverage. Leverage keeps people in line. If someone respects you only because they like you, they'll betray you the moment they don't. But if they respect you because they need you, or fear the consequences of crossing you, they'll stay loyal even if they hate your guts. That's the truth no one wants to admit. Power makes people behave. So how do you build this position? 1. Make yourself indispensable. Be the only one who can solve certain problems. 2. Control resources others need, information, connections, opportunities. 3. Create a reputation that makes people think twice about crossing you. 4. Never reveal how much you need anyone. I learned this when a business partner tried to push me out of my own company. While he was plotting, I was building relationships with our 3 biggest clients. When he made his move, I simply let those clients know I might be starting my own venture soon. Within 48 hours, he was the one being asked to leave. I didn't threaten. I didn't argue. I activated leverage. When you're betrayed, your first instinct is to react immediately, to show them they hurt you, to make them pay. That's exactly what they expect. That's exactly what they want. In 1929, during the Chicago gang wars, 7 men from Bugs Moran's gang were lined up against a wall and executed by Al Capone's men. The St. Valentine's Day massacre shocked the city. But what few remember is that Capone wasn't even in Chicago that day. He was in Florida, establishing a public alibi while his carefully selected team carried out his plan, months after the original offense against him. He didn't react, he responded, and that response was calculated, timed, and devastating. Hesitation is a luxury the powerful cannot afford, but impulse is the weapon your enemies want you to use, because once you start feeling, you stop thinking. Machiavelli understood this long before psychology gave it names. He didn't romanticize revenge, he strategized it. When someone moves against you, 1. Act unfazed, even appreciative. 2. Gather information while they think you're oblivious. 3. Identify their vulnerabilities and dependencies. 4. Wait for the perfect moment when they feel safe. 5. Then move decisively, with no emotion, no drama, just results. Your enemy must never know how much they affected you. If they believe they shook you, they already won. But if they hit you and you don't flinch, if you respond with calm precision, they begin to doubt their power. That doubt becomes your weapon. The most dangerous person in the room is never the one who speaks loudest or stands in the spotlight. It's the one observing quietly, controlling the room without saying a word. For decades, J. Edgar Hoover maintained iron control over American politics without ever holding elected office. Presidents came and went, but Hoover remained untouchable. How? He collected secrets. He built files. He knew things about powerful people they didn't want revealed. He never had to threaten explicitly. His power was implied, atmospheric. Everyone knew crossing him would be costly, yet he rarely had to demonstrate why. Visibility invites envy. Attention invites sabotage. But influence without exposure is invincibility. Your strength should never be on display. It should be suspected, whispered about, never confirmed. The key to ultimate power is control without credit. Let others wear the crown while you own the kingdom. Let them fight over titles and applause while you quietly direct outcomes. This is how you stay undefeated, by being everywhere and nowhere at the same time. 1. Build a reputation for making things happen behind the scenes. 2. Let others be the face while you remain the architect. 3. Cultivate relationships with influential people who trust your judgment. 4. Feed other people's egos. Let them think they're leading. 5. shape the path while making others feel it was their idea. When you're invisible, you're unpredictable. When you're unpredictable, you're unstoppable. Silence is your weapon. Mystery is your shield. Everything I've shared with you today comes down to one principle. In a world where most people operate on emotion, the strategist always wins. The untouchable don't just survive, they thrive because they understand what others refuse to see. 1. Perception creates reality. Manage how others see you too. Silence creates power. Speak less, observe more. 3. Loyalty is transactional. Build leverage, not trust. 4. Reaction is weakness. Response is strength. 5. Visibility is vulnerability. Control from the shadows. Remember that investor who doubled down on my failing company? 3 years later, we sold that business for 8 figures. At the celebration dinner, he pulled me aside and said, "I never invested in your business. I invested in you, in the way you carried yourself when everything was falling apart." That's when I knew you were untouchable. Machiavelli wasn't teaching people how to be cruel. He was teaching them how to survive in a world that already was. His final lesson: the most powerful person isn't the one with the most weapons, the most money, or the most fame. It's the one who remains unaffected when others attempt to destroy them. The one who can smile when threatened. The one who can walk away when tempted. The one who can rise when crushed. That's what it means to be untouchable. And now you know how.